People hate long lines. Lines at the bank, lines at the supermarket, lines at the airport, lines at an amusement park. No matter where you are or what you're doing, seeing a long line just makes you stressed out and sometimes even a bit angry. Now close your eyes. Imagine you are just beginning your cruise vacation of a lifetime, and 3 hours into your cruise, you find yourself waiting in one of those lines. Welcome to the dreaded Embarkation Day guest services line. Why are all these people in line? Stay tuned and we will let you know why these people are in line and how you can avoid it. Hi everyone, we're Sharon and Jamie from Sharon and Travel, and today we're going to talk about what might be the worst thing about cruising. That's right, the guest services line on Embarkation Day. Seasoned cruisers, you might already know what we're talking about. But you first-time or new cruisers, this might be the most valuable video you will watch before your cruise.
Now, we've seen these long lines time and time again on every cruise with every cruise line we've sailed. Norwegian Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, and even Carnival. And if we're being totally honest, Carnival holds the crown for the longest lines. Now, I'm not sure if it's the fact that Carnival gets so many brand new first-time cruisers, but our experience is that Carnival has the longest lines at the guest services desk.
Without a doubt, the longest lines at guest services on any cruise line will be found on Embarkation Day, usually mid to late afternoon. I believe there are a few specific reasons for this. First, in many cases, the guest services desk won't be operational as the first guests arrive on board the ship, and that is because the computer systems are still finalizing the information from the previous cruise. The first guests will begin boarding the ship around 11 a.m.-ish or so, but the computers may not be up and running until about noon. So if any of those guests that boarded the ship early need assistance, they will have to come back later in the afternoon, and by then, most of the other guests will have boarded the ship already.
Next, many issues that people have aren't realized until after they access their cruise cabin, which in most cases is about 1:30 in the afternoon. That's when the ship will announce that the cabins are all open and ready for guests. Lastly, once people get into their cabins, they'll have access to their TVs, which will show your onboard account and any reservations that you might have for shows or dining or anything like that. That's also the time when most people will access the cruise ship app for the first time and begin connecting to the ship's Wi-Fi and logging into any pre-purchased Wi-Fi plans.
Now, these examples are the reasons why Embarkation Day has the longest lines. But let's dive deeper into why so many people are in line and see if we can help some of you avoid those long lines. Based on our experience, the number one reason people flock to guest services on Embarkation Day is because they need to add some form of payment to their online account before they can make a purchase, which usually involves some sort of beverage purchase.
I don't know why you're looking at me, Sharon, right now.
During the online check-in process for your cruise, a credit card can be put on file as well to use once you're on board. Before your cruise, make sure that that card is still active and not maxed out or expired. Also, add a travel notice to your card so that it's not frozen from odd activity while you travel. If you did not add a credit card before your cruise, you can often add one while checking in at the cruise ship terminal. Remember, use a credit card if you can and not a debit card. We won't go into why here, but just trust me on this one.
Maybe you just want to add cash to your account and not a card. Before getting in line, look to see if the ship has kiosks where you can add cash to your account without waiting in line. Now, we've seen this option and used it on a number of different cruise ships. If you're using gift cards, you may be stuck getting into the line, as that may be the only way to apply them to your account because you can't do it online and they usually can't take them at the terminal. Now, maybe you can add a card before the cruise and then replace it once on board the ship when the line dies down. Remember this tip. If you have any onboard credit, you can use that for purchases before going to guest services to add an additional payment method. When it comes to your onboard account, these are just a few of the things that you can do to avoid having to get in line right away on day one of your cruise.
The next biggest reason people are in line is because they can't figure out how to use the app or can't log in to access their Wi-Fi plan. Remember to download and update the Cruise Line app before your cruise and make sure to log in as well so you're ready to go once you're on board. Also, remember that in order to use the Wi-Fi, you have to be in airplane mode. If all else fails, you might need some assistance, but before getting in that long line, stop by the photo department. That's right, the photo department. These folks are some of the most tech-savvy people on the ship, and oftentimes they are the best ones to help you get online either into your prepaid Wi-Fi, or they can show you how to purchase the Wi-Fi in the app once on board.
Hey, really quick, thanks for sticking around this far into the video, and if you feel like you're getting some good information, please consider hitting the subscribe button so we can hang out more often. Now, another reason people are in line is to try to book an excursion or make an excursion change. Well, if you get in line for this reason, I got bad news for you. You're in the wrong line. Guest services usually can't help with excursion issues. You have to go to the excursion desk, which is there to specifically deal with excursions. You see, the excursion department is totally separate from the normal cruise ship operations. The excursion desk will usually open up shortly after guests begin to board, or you can check the app or like a paper daily planner that might be in your cabin for the time the desk will open up.
Now, we've covered what we call the big 3 reasons people are online, but there may be a few more. For instance, you prepaid for the drink package, but it's not showing up on your account. This is definitely a good reason to stand in line.
Oh, yeah.
Just remember to always print out your confirmation for any online pre-cruise purchases so you'll have all the proof you need to easily get it corrected once you are on board.
You should have onboard credit, but you don't see it on your account. Again, have that print out whenever you can, but also try to think back to if you may have used that credit towards making a purchase pre-cruise, like a drink or dining package, or maybe an excursion or something like that. Sometimes the cruise line will default and use that onboard credit first and then just charge you the difference on your credit card when you book online, and you may not even notice it. This has been happening more often now that most cruise lines allow you to use onboard credit for pre-cruise purchases.
I know, this happened to us a few cruises back. We had forgot that we used it on something. And once we got on board, I think you used it, and we got on board. And
why am I always
I didn't
the bad
know
guy?
that. And yeah, and here we're at guest services, and then we realized we already used it. But it can happen to anyone.
That's right.
Here's one. I want to put a limit on my child's onboard account so they don't spend $100 in the arcade. That's a great reason to be online. But remember, you can also do this during your online check-in process for most cruise lines.
Finally, if you're having an issue with your cabin, try calling housekeeping before going and getting in that long guest services line. Maybe the safe's not working, the beds aren't pushed together, or the AC isn't cold. And for the AC, make sure the balcony door is shut because the AC might turn off when the door is open. Also remember, avoid trying to call guest services at all costs on embarkation afternoon because there's a really good chance that they won't be able to answer the phone. They'll be so busy with all those people in that line.
Yeah. It'll just ring and ring. Now, we're not saying that you can avoid every situation that might put you into that embarkation day line. And sure, you may get stuck in line on another day, especially the evening before debarkation day, which reminds me, keep an eye on your onboard account during the week to avoid having to deal with things the last night of your cruise. But the moral of the story is plan ahead and exhaust all other options before heading down to guest services on embarkation day so you don't have to spend your first afternoon on the ship angry and stressed out.
That's right, Sharon. The first afternoon on the ship is for partying and having a good time. Now, we hope you enjoyed the video and that'll help you to avoid those long guest services line. Remember to hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and the notification bell as soon as this video ends. Feel free to share it with family and friends as well. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.